You're watching The God Summit, brought to you by the Review of Religions.
You're abusing their faith and you're being a complete disgrace.
What do you know about Prophet Muhammad? I've established now. You are
Incredible.
Yes!
I do apologise.
Got all these people waiting.
No, I do apologise, yeah.
So do you feel the same way that he does about the Ramadan lights?
I have absolutely no feeling about the Ramadan lights whatsoever.
So these are going to be reaction videos.
Can I give you a reaction later?
You can try and hold your reaction back, but if I've chosen the videos well, then you won't be able to.
How about if I do it by email?
You can do it visually without speaking, if you want. Okay, are you ready? Let's listen.
And most interestingly, we have a growing number of young people in this country who do not subscribe to British values, in fact, loathe much of what we stand for. So what do you do?
Who are we talking about there?
Oh, I think we see them on the streets of London every Saturday.
What do they look like? Oh, we're talking about...
What do they look like?
Are we talking about...
I think he needs to ask what British values are as well, doesn't he? They need to be clarified.
Surveys saying that 46% of British Muslims support Hamas, support a terrorist organisation that is prescribed in this country.
Well, this is very interesting, and we don't have that survey in front of us, but let's just...
What are your initial thoughts on that?
I'd like to know what Farage considers to be a British value, first of all. Do you feel that traditional Muslim values contrast with your own values as a Muslim? Is that something you'd like to talk about?
Me as a British Muslim, does my Muslim side conflict with my British side and from that side, you know? Because there's a saying of Prophet Muhammad, which is that love for one's nation is part of faith. Loyalty to one's nation is part of faith. So this is my response to Farage, is actually becoming a Muslim made me more patriotic. It made me love British values, which I view as being, there's so many, but you know, dignity, equality, respect, tolerance, kindness, compassion, fairness, justice, love. But has that removed your fear of Islam though? Oh, we haven't started yet, have we? Yeah, it's on. Oh, John, all right.
This collection of revolting personalities, it's astounding.
Well, I must say I was slightly horrified to hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer. You know, I love hymns and Christmas carols, and I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos.
So he was upset here about lights being put up in some place in connection with Ramadan.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I kind of resent his interpretation of Christianity just as a cultural thing. You know, he's speaking about Christianity almost as if it were a cartoon from Disney that he's comfortable with. He likes the cathedrals and he likes the hymns and he likes Christmas, you know, because he feels cozy there. As opposed to it having any profound spiritual value, because of course spirituality doesn't exist in Tolkien's world. It's just so trivial. It's an insult to one's intelligence, but it does open this debate about what a value is and whether a value is actually valuable. What's it worth?
So I guess it connects to the earlier topic where Nigel Farage was saying Muslims are against British values. He's saying he doesn't want Christian values, the Christian ethos, to be replaced by another. Ramadan being a Muslim doesn't want British values to be replaced by Islam.
But this man's concerned about Ramadan lights. He's concerned about the presence of cathedrals and whether or not it enhances his view. He's not concerned about what any of these things mean, what any of these things represent, or the kind of life that they're supposed to support. You know, he's got this very definite idea about what is good about life, and none of it is actually an analysis of what's real, I would suggest. But going back to what is the value of a value and what does it represent? And what is it, he talks about being a cultural Christian. What does that mean? Apart from anything, presumably it's absolutely hypocritical as far as he's concerned, but he's prepared to play at being a Christian, even though he's the prime motivator for people not being Christian, not being spiritual, and he's prepared to discriminate against another religion by contrast with cultural Christianity. Does any of this make any sense? Is any of this the the thought of a so-called professor or a so-called intelligent man. I mean, this is without we go into the kind of justification he has for dismissing the existence of God.
I guess looking to speak on his behalf, yeah, he's saying he's very sad about the fact many churches are closing, turning into nurseries, cafes, theatres. But on the other hand,
I don't think we must forget that the likes of him is instrumental in that happening, surely, but he spends best part of his time undermining any sort of faith, any sort of spirituality, about saying
Point
God
number
is
one.
dead. Stop interrogating me, for heaven's sakes. What do you think? What do you feel? What is the game here, John? Come on.
do I feel worried about terrorist attacks in London? For sure. Would I want my wife and kids to be in a shopping mall when someone commits a terrorist attack? Absolutely not. Does that make me worried about the way that certain Muslims interpret Islam? It does. Does it make me believe any less in the Quran and Prophet Muhammad? Absolutely not. Do I think the majority of Muslims in the UK adopt that view? 100% not, because I know so many who are amazing. But does it make me worry about certain mosques and certain strains within certain clerics? 100%. And even more so, I tell you why, because, and this is from a religious perspective, Prophet Muhammad said that there would be a time in the future when the worst people on the face of the earth would be the Muslim clerics. And that's the founder of Islam who said that. So I view, in fact, these terrorist incidents, these abuses of Islam by people that call themselves Muslim, to in fact be a sign of the truth of Islam, which were prophesied 1500 years ago to come to pass at this stage. Even though I disagree hugely with a lot of stuff that Dawkins says, Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, I think that they're also looking to scapegoat 3 million people, or a large amount of that. I also think that we shouldn't discount it blindly. We have to engage with the arguments, and we have to unpick it and unpack it and say, okay, where's the truth, where's the falsehood?
Whee! There's the lamp.